They said that they had hit ISIS base, Islamic forces in this part of the country, and I've covered insurgency in my former role for the past decade. ISIS has never really been a big player. We've had Boko Haram, we've had some Al Qaeda backed players, but it's the first time really that ISIS is kind of coming into contention in this. And of course, US intelligence forces and Nigerian intelligence forces perhaps know more about this, but it's the first time really that ISIS is coming up in contention as part of groups of terrorists operating in Nigeria. So details are still emerging of this, frankly, surprise Christmas Day attacks on the northwestern state of Sokoto. What we know is that the Nigerian government has come out to say that they were aware that the strikes were going to happen. They were done in partnership with them and U.S. military officials. So, I mean, it's come as a surprise to many Nigerians because the framing has changed. It's gone from Nigeria being a disgrace, being labelled a disgrace by the US, and threats of invasion to this coordinated attack, which is what Nigeria says it's always been asking for. And Christmas Day is obviously not an accident. It's obviously quite a symbolic date that they've chosen to signal solidarity with Christians, who President Trump has stated quite frankly that are under genocide. The Nigerian government maintains that all Nigerians are under threat of terrorism and have appealed for global parties partnership. And this is what appears to have happened. But some Nigerians have welcomed it. They're very happy that finally external help is coming and finally something is being done about a worsening insecurity crisis in the country. But some are concerned. They're quite clear that the US does not do anything that does not really benefit its interests, and they're asking what Nigeria. And some are also linking this to the oil resource that Nigeria has, and drawing parallels with what's going on in Venezuela, which also has considerable oil resources, and which the US has been kind of attacking and taking the oils off the high seas. So there's quite a mixed reactions, as there's some are saying that this could undermine national sovereignty and is poorly thought out, and what are the kind of collateral damage on the ground. We don't know those details yet.
Yeah, and it's interesting how you said, we've been trying to work out some of Donald Trump's motivations over the course of this programme. It's interesting that you said some Nigerians are saying, look, they've seen this as help being given. And when we hear from the Nigerian government, it doesn't seem that clear about what the next stage of this is, because they haven't ruled out further strikes. Is this the start of a sort of a new campaign, do you think?
Well, that's what is unclear. That's what is unclear. What are the details? How long will this happen? Will this go on? And Sokoto is quite a surprise because when you think about the Christian attacks, it's going on across the middle belt of Nigeria. It's going across parts of the northwest. But Sokoto has never really been in contention when you think about these attacks. So that has come as a surprise to some commentators. So there's so many details about this unclear, and really, how long is this conflict going to go on for? And many are saying that it is largely oversimplified, framing it as just a religious crisis. It's multi-layered, it's complex, it's issues of climate change, land resources, and of course terrorism is a big part of that issue. But
I mean,
a
Donald
lot of
Trump
details
is very
unclear at the moment.
Yeah, Donald Trump is very much framing this as him coming out on the side of the persecuted Christians. But we know from humanitarian groups, and we've heard earlier from Jane Flanagan, our Africa correspondent, the picture is actually a lot more muddled than that. And there's sort of no evidence to say that Christians are persecuted more so than Muslims. It's clearly a very complex picture. What would be helpful if you know, and I appreciate it's early, what do we know about the targets here of this attack? And because it clearly was coordinated by the Nigerian government and the US, what was it specifically they were trying to aim at?
Yes, so they said that they had hit ISIS base, Islamic forces in this part of the country, and I've covered insurgency in my former role for the past decade. ISIS has never really been a big player. We've had Boko Haram, we've had some Al-Qaeda-backed players, but it's the first time really that ISIS is kind of coming into contention in this. And of course, U.S. intelligence forces and Nigerian intelligence forces perhaps know more about this, but it's the first time really that ISIS is coming up in contention as part of groups of terrorists operating in Nigeria.